delighted to have all of you here with us today to dive deeper into such a hot topic. Today's webinar is presented by ADA, a data and artificial intelligence company which operates across 10 countries in South and Southeast Asia. Throughout the webinar, please feel free to drop any questions on the Q&A box at the bottom, and we will address them towards the end of the presentation. Our speakers today will be Mr. Tim Grintal, Director of Key Accounts at ADA in Cambodia, and myself, Maximiliano Berger, Director of Business Development at ADA in Cambodia. During our Q&A session, we will be joined by our panel of experts who will weigh in on the questions submitted by you, the audience, for a deeper dive and a more in-depth discussion. Those experts with us here today are Ms. Clara Grintal, Country Director at ADA Cambodia, and Mr. Sanjit Hossain, Director of Customer Engagement Solutions at ADA in Cambodia. All right, so to kick things off, ADA has run a market survey to understand the sentiment amongst business owners in Cambodia and how the pandemic has affected their business. It's a very simple survey composed of only 5 questions to measure a quick sentiment. Of course, with a bit of humor on number 5, which unless you have been living under a rock, there's a little chance you didn't hear about COVID-19. The responses were not at all surprising, with 44% of the respondents claiming they saw their businesses somewhat disrupted by COVID-19. We were actually happily surprised, or we should say perhaps a bit worried, that 7% of respondents chose the last answer of what is COVID-19. It's good to see that some people still have their humor intact despite these trying times. You may be looking at this thinking that this poll or survey is not really telling us much, but we see it as a very valuable piece of information, a good measure on real shared human sentiment. Why is it so important though? Well, the playing field has definitely changed. People are doing things differently, acting differently, behaviors and trends have changed drastically. And through data, we can uncover those new trends and those new patterns and reach audiences in a very targeted and contextual way. With a lot of information going around, it is hard to focus on what really matters. In that case, a report from Forrester narrows down the importance of harnessing data and insights in a strategic manner to drive our business growth and engage with the ever-changing audiences. Through our services, we have been able to collect empirical evidence on how brands that use data to drive their businesses are 2.3 times more likely to succeed during a disruption such as the pandemic we are living in today. Furthermore, 30% of our clients who embrace data and insights saw an increase in user engagement and footfall. And as a last metric we want to show to you today, also we saw evidence of 4 times incremental revenue. Again, this is on average for brands who we collaborated with. And these businesses are of course embracing data and using data to make informed decisions when they do campaigns. So what we're seeing here today is a trend that when businesses use data to fuel their decision making, they clearly outperform other brands exponentially and are even seeing growth during these trying times of the pandemic. Whereas other businesses who are not necessarily embracing data, they're making decisions based on gut feeling, are simply not stepping up to the game, are not seeing revenue increases, they're not succeeding during these trying times. So that's the biggest learning that we take here. Of course, again, we've discussed data and the importance of it. Especially data is important because we are seeing today a massive and considerable change in consumer behavior. Of course, a massive change in the way we all do our tasks on a day-to-day, whether that is meeting your friends for lunch or dinner, going to work or not going to work, right? Because a lot of us are working from home these days. Going to the store and shopping for your daily necessities, such as groceries. The list goes on, of course. But this has had a deep impact on how individuals engage with brands. Furthermore, it has had a deep impact on how consumers spend their time and money. There's been an evident change in, of course, consumer behavior trends globally. And of course, we see that in the local market as well. Where data shows an increase in demand for different categories of products that we were not seeing before. Just to give an example, we saw globally trends of increased demand actually for beauty-related products, right? So people are staying home, they're looking for other ways to spend their money. Therefore, they're engaging in different manners with brands. And we're seeing, of course, decrease in demand for other things like apparel, right? People are not going outside to the street or going hiking, therefore, because the national parks are closed, so they're not buying shoes to go out to the trails and trekking, for example. So we are seeing this change in behavior because the consumer needs to stay home, so they're engaging with other brands that they didn't see themselves engaging with before. But ultimately, whatever the trends are, whatever the behavior of the customers are, all the brands are chasing the same person. All the brands are chasing the same consumer as the other brand. But this happens, of course, without much understanding of who this consumer is. There's one thing for certain here, is that data doesn't lie. And throughout the use of data, we can uncover Cambodian consumers' behavior like never before. So this is what we'll do in the next 30 or so minutes. Tim and myself will walk you through on different ways of how brands can use data for their own growth, especially during these unprecedented times. The pandemic has brought deep changes across the globe, and in Cambodia, we're also feeling the impacts of it. It is safe to say that the tides have changed. So it is time to embrace that new reality. New trends in consumer behavior are here, and who knows how long it'll last. Perhaps for 5 years, perhaps for 10 years. Who knows what next technologies will come along. So, but we need to embrace the fact that tides have changed. Consumer behavior has changed. We need to engage and find other ways to engage with the consumers. That brings us to the new normal, right? So it's possible that there is no more normal. And the new normal of wearing masks, of hand sanitizer, and video calls is our new reality. Whatever happens is, of course, yet to be seen, but it is for certain that consumer behavior is not what it used to be. Therefore, brands must act decisively and embrace the immense amounts of data, of information available about the consumers. So without further ado, in the next few slides, we'll have Tim. I'll pass on the floor to you and the mic as well. And Tim here, our key account director, once again, will take you on this beautiful journey on how to utilize data for your own business growth. Tim, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Max, for such a nice introduction and for such a great start of our webinar, How to Grow with Data. As Max mentioned, my name is Tim. I'm the Key Account Director at ADA Cambodia, which means I focus mostly on developing new business on our verticals of business insights, marketing technologies, and e-commerce. Let's dive deeper into data and how to optimally use it for success. Data is the biggest driver of success in marketing today. It contains our footprints in the digital world, but it also contains our footprints in the offline world, so in the real world. Data is basically the key to unlock the consumer, to learn about your key consumer, your key target audience, and to be able to, based on that learning, to optimize your strategies and plans to enable your company to grow. We have three different types of data. First is your audience data, which is sometimes referred as first-party data. This is the data that your company already owns. It's there sitting somewhere. It can be collected through a variety of touch points, but basically this is the data that any company should use it already and optimize the use of it to really leverage and to basically build their success on it. Then we have telco or other data, which is sometimes considered as second-party data, which means a data owned by a company, but can be available there for you to either basically enhance the insights you have from your consumer or to add insights about new consumers to your knowledge already. This can be done through the use of our telco offering with partnership through ADA and Smart. And then we have aggregated data, sometimes referred as third-party data, which is basically a data compiled through different sources altogether. And it can sometimes contain data that is purely observational, so basically observing your consumer and collecting data based on that, or predictive, which means that basically through AI, so artificial intelligence and predictive models, it predicts the potential behavior of the consumer, and by that kind of cutting the corners to bring you the success when it comes to engaging with this consumer. So those are the three types of data we know. But data by itself doesn't mean necessarily a success for you. Data is nothing without being able to translate the data into actionable insights, right? So the key is there's plenty of data out there, but how to be able to really extract the right insights to basically pull the right moves to plan your next strategies that's going to bring you success and enable growth. So insights are the key. That's the whole point, right? Let's dive deeper into your audience data or first-party data. So this data is collected straight from your audience, straight from your consumer. As I mentioned before, it could be collected through a variety of touch points. Could be collected through either a website, your application, different types of forms, maybe even different on-ground activities by using Excel forms, or could be by any CRM system. But basically, this is all the data your company already owns. And it's literally sitting there waiting for you to use it, right? So I love to refer to it as a pile of gold. It's a gold mine. It's literally a pile of gold in your company sitting there and waiting for you to use it to really leverage on it to optimize your growth, right? So how to do that and what kind of things you can basically harvest from that type of data. So this data, firstly, is very cost effective, right? So you don't have to purchase this data. It's already sitting there. So there's no other needs or means that what you need to do to use it. It's already there. It's basically just about the right strategy and the right software to optimize the process of how you use it. This data can basically tell you about your audience's behavior, and by observing your audience's behavior, you could be able to then predict future patterns of your customer, right? So if I see in my database, could be in my data management platform, whatever, that someone keeps on purchasing a certain product, it's a clear indicator that this person is really interested in that product, and it's probably going to continue to purchasing it, right? So I should only offer offers that are either talking about that product or product that can be similar to that, right? Information like that we're able to learn. And it's basically the key to your audience optimization, because the more you know about your audience, the more you know what kind of products to offer them and also how to engage with them, right? If you have a certain information about your consumer, you should be able to exactly know how to approach them, what kind of things to offer them, how to communicate it to them, what to present to them, right? So you don't waste your time and energy on introducing another product that's far from their interest, right? So that means audience optimization, which leads to personalized content and ads, right? If I have certain information, certain insights about a consumer, that they are interested by certain topics, certain products, or any other whatever patterns there would be, I'm able to basically plan my next marketing activities to be very personalized for that specific segment. So all the ads can really speak to a specific segment, they can see. So it could be a segment that downloaded my app but is not really using it, right? And I can learn other information about this segment and then really craft my strategy to enhance, okay, so they're already interested in my services, but why are they not doing the next step by purchasing my product or to use my product? And I can then really plan a strategy that talks directly to them with this information. So all these data, right, is basically best optimized through, to put it under umbrella, marketing technologies. So there's a lot of marketing technology out there. There's a lot of solutions out there. The key is to basically set up the right strategy for you to optimize the use of your data, right? So marketing technology covers a lot of different solutions. So could be customer data platform, CDP, right? So these are platforms that basically gather all sorts of information about your consumer and that you're basically later on able to use in any sorts of your marketing and communication activities, right? So basically collects all the data you have and kind of helps you streamline then the data and to really use it in an effective way. Or data management platform that works in a similar way but focuses more into marketing activities. Then we have different end-to-end solutions. One of them could be Insider. So basically a solution that brings you end-to-end solution, that brings you basically insights and kind of helps you to use that insights and to target specific consumer with a specific personalized content and messaging to really increase the life cycle and the value also of each consumer, right? The longer you keep them, the more you make them purchase, the bigger benefit for you. And that's what end-to-end solutions really bring to the table. And then also CRMs. So basically all the solutions that kind of support your sales activities, brings basic customer information about what type of things are they purchasing, their basic information. So basically all that information can already be plugged into your CDPs and DMPs to predict basically what are these customers interested in, what are they purchasing, what are they going to purchase in the future. And by using marketing technologies in an optimal way, that's really basically the key to your success there, right? And marketing technologies we normally approach in a very specific way, right? We have basically 4 main stages when it comes to marketing technology. We have the discovery stage. So whenever we try to determine basically what would be the most efficient way to use technology and also our data, we need a discovery phase. We need to basically talk with all the internal teams. We need to analyze all that's happening within a specific company to understand what's the journey right now, what's happening right now, where are the blank spots in this journey, where we can optimize our process. Based on that, then we can plan strategies to grow, right? Then engineer that to the perfection, and later on optimize to really bring the maximum value, right? optimizing to basically to the maximum. That's the key for win. So that was first party data, your own data. Let's now go to aggregated data, sometimes referred as third party data. Basically, third party data gives you a perfect view of your consumer, offline and online behavior, right? So for instance, our Exact Data Management Platform by ADA, it's a platform that contains information about 360 million user profiles in Southeast Asia across 10 markets. In Cambodia, that's around 6 million user profiles that we have, and contains information of what kind of apps are these people using, how are they interacting with different content online, what are they reacting to. But then also we're combining that with all the offline information. So basically, where are they moving? Where are their points of interest? Where do they live? Where do they work? All sorts of information to really bring you like a perfect picture of a consumer. And these all aggregated data can be matched with your first party data. So either we can use it just to match different consumers and bring you more insights to your table, or you can just use the aggregated data we have to basically really leverage on all the insights and all the precision targeting and engagement capability to the table with that. There are quite a lot of things that our Exact Data Management Platform contains. So a lot of different attributes, a lot of different information about the consumer out there, right? And if we're all trying to attract this Cambodian high to mid affluent youngster, a millennial, right, that's willing to buy our products, to become our users, these are the kind of information that we're really keen to gather to be able to proper analyze the market and to determine what would be our business strategy, to prepare our strategy, marketing and sales, and then really to develop different tactics, how to approach, how to engage with this consumer, and how to successfully basically make them interested in our products. So basically through Exact Data Management Platform, we're able to capture basic demographics. We're able to even determine distance traveled. So basically, if we focus on specific locations of your either bank branches or any store branches, whatever, store locations, we're able to tell you exactly how much is a particular segment willing to travel to visit your store or your branch, right? Which gives you an indication like, okay, our services are so good that people are willing to travel more than 5 kilometers just to visit us. Or no, people are very opportunistic, so they just go to the first branch, first store that's close to them, and that's it. So we should focus only locally, right? Then we're able to bring you all sorts of footfall patterns. So basically giving you analytics about who's visiting specific branches or stores. Could be yours, could be even your competitions. So here are like the demographics, age demographics, sex, so female, male demographics. Are they affluent? What kind of personas is mostly visiting your stores, branches, right? All sorts of information like that. And then also what we're able to derive there is competitor customer, right? So we're not only able to basically geofence based on your branches or your stores, we can also track your competition and kind of then compare what kind of consumer is visiting your competition and what kind of consumer is visiting your own branches and stores. And then you can literally compare these different personas and see what's the difference. Is the affluency level, is the location of living, is the location of work, it's maybe different online behavior patterns, but that will really give you a key insight to see what's the difference between customer that goes to your branches and competition, and how you should talk to the customer that's going to your competition to make them churn and become fan of your brand or being your customer. We're also able to basically tell you where is the high or low density of your target audience. So that could be like for the whole Cambodia, for the whole country, or it can be even very specific. So we can even go to a geohash level of like 60 by 100 meters and tell you like, hey, if this is your target audience, a lot of people are actually living in that area. Or you should avoid spending your money on billboards or whatever marketing sales activities in these locations because no one is really living there. And then we are also able to give you different places of interest. So what kind of locations are these people visiting? Are they going mostly to the cinema? Are they going mostly to the malls? Are they going to the bars, to pubs? Are they going to nature, outside? So all sorts of information like that. We're basically geofencing and harvesting data from more than 35,000 points of interest in Cambodia and collecting data what kind of consumers visiting each of them, just to have a perfect insights and knowledge about different consumers in different locations in Cambodia. Moreover, we're able to tell you exactly where your target audience is moving, so either where they live, where they work, or where they go to spend their leisure time, their evenings, their afternoons with their family or their weekends. We can also tell you the mobility patterns. So how do they move? Where do they move? How often do they go to certain places? And also affluency levels, right? So we can tell you exactly where the high affluent people are, where do they spend their time, most of their time, and where also the low affluent people are. So just to determine basically where you should focus on them, where should all your marketing and sales activities be. Moreover, we're also able not only to provide you all these insights about your consumer, but we can also extract the IFAs, so device ideas of these consumers, and later on you can use them as a customized segment to basically target through your digital campaigns, so through Facebook, Google Ads, TikTok, you name it. Basically, we're able to create a customized segment and then also like a lookalike segment based on that customized segments. And this is just a very visual example of how we see different consumer segments. This is just one example. It's mostly kind of like a high affluent young Cambodians, right? So we have the basic demographics of them. Then we have also some physiographics. They often live a lavish lifestyle. They like to relax during weekends. They go to different spas, to different fancy restaurants. We can tell you exactly where they're spending their time, basically during weeks, during weekends. Where do they spend their time on? Is it in Phnom Penh? Is it outside of Phnom Penh? Information like that. Then also visually you can see what are their points of interest. So are they mostly spending their time at work? Are they mostly go to the stores? Are they just enjoying the restaurants and the high life? Or are they more into entertainment, so going to cinemas and stuff like that? But then we dive even deeper onto the digital behavior. We can tell you exactly what are the top apps that this type of segment would use. So we can give you also segmentation by different app categories. Is this segment using mostly game apps? So are they playing games on their phones? Or are they mostly interested in like investment apps, which would be kind of like the key target audience for any banking or financial service company, right? So if you know that someone has a lot of investment apps, that's probably your ideal target audience, right? And we can also give you, of course, split for any other types, categories of apps that they will be using. So this is just a visually example of what kind of insights and what kind of information we can bring to the table. And as I mentioned before, this data can be matched with any of your first-party data to give you more insights about your consumer and also to bring more customers and more insights to the table overall. So either you want to analyze and learn more about the consumer, either you want to prepare a great strategy for your next marketing campaign, or pure tactics to really precise target specific segment, this kind of data is perfect to use, especially in combination with your first-party data. Now I pass the mic back to Max.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Sorry about that. I was actually on mute. Typical, right? Well, thank you for taking us and the audience on that amazing journey of showing us which different tools there are for using data, but of course also teaching us the very important information that the data is nothing without proper insights, right? So I think that's a valuable lesson that we take from here today. But again, to just move on a bit, a few more slides, before we conclude this webinar and we move on to the Q&A session with our panel of experts. Let me just take you real quick on telco data for growth and how we utilize that. Of course, as Tim said earlier, we have an exclusive partnership with Smart Axiata in Cambodia, and we are leveraging off of that 7.5 million subscribers from the telco, from Smart, and we have crafted multiple data-driven tools for businesses to harness that power that comes from that 7.5 million subscribers of Smart. Those tools come in the form of Customer 360, or better known in the market as eKYC. Of course, this tool can help brands identify and verify your customer. It can also be utilized for building a loyalty base. Furthermore, you can come up with personalized product offerings because you're understanding your customer in a better, more granular level. And lastly, what eKYC or Customer 360 can do for you is close sales conversion funnel. Secondly, we have credit scoring, utilizing the power of Smart's user database. Where the typical and traditional journey of a customer can take days or weeks, as you can see at the very top here, with digital credit scoring, the same objective can be achieved in just a few minutes. This is, of course, all powered by data. So what are the benefits of the telco credit scoring or the alternative credit scoring powered by Smart Axiata in Cambodia? Our telco data can totally enrich any financial institution existing financial data. So the data that all these financial institutions are sitting on is absolutely, one of the most probably valuable gold mines that there are in the market today. However, the power of alternative data that's coming from the telcos, in this case coming from Smart, that's the biggest telco in Cambodia with 7.5 million subscribers, and a lot of historical data to uncover a lot of behaviors from customers. And again, we're going back to the beginning of our conversation on how we are seeing new trends, right? So we need to continuously have a look at that through data and therefore translating that into insights. So there are many benefits, of course, of enriching the financial institution's data, and that is, of course, enhanced credit worthiness, right? So we're combining credit data from the financial institution together with telco data. So that becomes a very powerful tool. Furthermore, we have, of course, through that the banks can offer a enhanced and unique customer experience. On the far right, we have customer segmentation. So through telco data, we can also understand which customers and what segments we are targeting. Furthermore, so we're moving down to the left, bottom left corner, credit access for the unbanked, right? This is probably a very hot topic in Cambodia. Not only now, it has been for the last 5, 10, 15 years even, serving the disadvantaged and those people at the bottom of the pyramid who have forever, historically, not had any access to any formal financial system. So bringing in alternative data from the telco, from Smart, 7.5 million subscribers, can definitely unlock a whole pool of other credit-worthy individuals, right? We understand the market penetration of smartphones and feature phones, and therefore the whole universe of telco in Cambodia is massive. It has been for a while. Cambodia has leapfrogged over other countries and other technologies from basically nothing to being completely digital, right? So the historical data that these individuals have outside of financial data, which it's pretty predominant. Many people don't have it, but they have always used the phone, right? So the historical data from telcos is still there, and financial institutions can today take advantage of that by leveraging off of this solution. Furthermore, and then the last one on this one is it eliminates human bias, right? So it's all running in algorithms, it's data insights. There's no necessity for human interaction, right? So this is it's an algorithm that of course learns. There's a phase of A/B testing, so we understand which models are working, which models are not working. So optimization is a process. However, this really eliminates the error coming from humans. All right, so without further ado, let us now really introduce who ADA in Cambodia is. So in the next 2 slides, I will give a bit of a deep dive on who we are, since we didn't really have a chance for an introduction earlier. So ADA is an artificial intelligence company, as we said earlier, and as you've noticed, we are working with data and AI. We are 800 people strong across 10 markets that we operate in South and Southeast Asia. Our experts bring a breadth of capabilities to the table, from data science experts, digital media gurus, industry experts, management consultants, and also e-commerce specialists. We come to you today with a strong backing from our shareholders. As you already know, we are backed and sister company of Smart in Cambodia, but the group company who is backing us since our beginning essentially is Axiata Group, headquartered out of Malaysia. We have other really strong backers such as SoftBank, our most recent shareholder, Mitsui, and Sumitomo Corporation, both Japanese companies. ADA's capabilities in a nutshell range from customer data analytics, under which we develop powerful tools such as consumer insights, interactive dashboards, data segmentation using proprietary data, video analytics, and social listening tools. All right, moving to digital marketing, ADA can help you design how your company positions itself and how it communicates with the users, basically safeguarding your brand identity. This all comes in the form of data-driven social media content creation, content automation, and campaign design. We also specialize in digital media execution to make the most out of your media mix, whether you're using Facebook, Google Ads Network, and so on. Moving on to the third pillar, marketing technology. This being actually a very effective, as Tim was saying earlier, a very effective way to drive business growth through your own platforms. ADA here can actually help you with UI, UX, and technology audits as well. In addition to that, tech implementation and many more things under our marketing technology practice. Moving on to our fourth pillar, which is customer engagement. ADA can help your business increase your ROI and build your loyalty base by enabling services via messaging. We are talking about here, of course, the next generation conversational messaging. So if you're interested to find out, definitely reach out to us. And the very last vertical here, we're talking about e-commerce enablement. ADA can help optimize your e-commerce performance and shift that client revenue to your digital channels, right? Bring that offline to the online, if that's your desire, if you're already looking at that shift, or you're looking at that shift in the near future, we can definitely help you with that. In addition, we can support for online conversions through e-coms, brand coms, whether you're on super apps or you're doing social commerce. All right, so now we are almost at the end of the webinar. So thank you for all of those that are sticking here with us today. We will move on to a bit of a poll. So changing up the tone a bit and just trying to understand which topics or areas the people, the audience here today is interested to explore further with us. So as you've seen, we have 5 verticals. And we're running a poll now, so please feel free to take a look there, but pretty much select one of these. Or if you are interested in exploring further with us, deep diving further with us on each of these topics, you can either select one of them or go for all of them as option number 6. So we look forward to hearing from you on that. We'll give you a few minutes. All right, so some of your questions are in already. So what we'll do is we will move on to the Q&A session next. Thank you very much, everyone. Whoops, actually not the Q&A yet. However, we are offering a 1-hour free consultation with our experts. So feel free to scan the QR code on your screens right now. And enter your information on the landing page so we can get in touch with you, and you will get a chance to win a 1-hour free consultation with our experts. Remember, not everyone on this call are the only experts within ADA, but as we saw earlier, we have 800 people strong across the region who are experts in many industries ranging from automotive, finance, retail, FMCG, and so on. So here I will leave a few seconds for you to take a screen recording of this QR code, scan the QR code, and then input your information in the landing page. Also, our team is right now sending the link. If you're unable to scan this, maybe you're watching it on your phone, which is totally fine. We can send the link over to the chat box section. So feel free to also click on that and input your information so we reach out to you. All right, so now, while you do that, we'll give you a few seconds and we will move on to the Q&A session. All right. I hope everyone in the audience is hanging in. We're almost there. Thank you for bearing with us. And as you can see, we have our panel of experts, Ms. Clara Grintel, Country Director of ADA in Cambodia. Also joining us, Mr. Sanjit Hossain, Director of Customer Engagement Solutions at ADA Cambodia. And once again, myself and Tim, as you already saw us present. All right, so we have a few questions already from the audience. And I will start perhaps with you, Sanjit, if you don't mind. Are you there? Sanjit?
Hi, I can hear you. Just video somehow is not coming. I don't know, due to some technical issues, but yeah, I'll take the question.
No worries. Okay, so we do have a question from the audience, the participants that were sent to us in advance. And that question is, how can telco data play a role in growth? Over to you, Sanjit.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question, actually. I think the major reason why telco data and how can drive the growth, because of, if you consider all other data sets that team has mentioned, the most diversified data sets are from telco, because when you are using a mobile connection, actually, and you are actually having all those, thank you. Actually, when all those data crunching is used, if it is a telco data, that gives you diversified insights. That means geolocation, behavioral, online behavior, and also like demographic behavior, because customers are registering themselves to the telco ecosystem, and through the enhanced eKYC system, they are being able to share all those insights. And if we categorize them as an anonymized version, and we segment them, and we slice and dice all those telco data, then we get more insights, and we can then segment those as per different kind of industry requirement. So those are the reasons. That's why as that telco data has a widespread usage of data crunching, data mining, and also data slicing and dicing. That's the main reason to having a growth from telco data. Hope it's helps.
Awesome, thank you. That's a very good answer. We also have one coming in from the audience right now, so I will ping you, Clara. And the question goes like this. So apparently this participant is a pre-seed startup. And the question is, what type of data would you look to push brand activation campaign for a pre-seed startup, and which strategies do you find best effective in such campaign in Cambodia?
Thank you for the question. Thank you, Max, for the floor. So I think that's a very, very good question. I think the most important thing to do at this stage, right, when you're considering how to really best launch your brand, launch your startup, get out there, is to really truly understand who is your target consumer, who is your customer, what is that ideal customer profile, right? And only then we can start looking into what are possible data sources we can use to really truly understand that consumer, right? Of course, their mobile phones are revealing a lot of different information about them, about their movement, about their habits, about their use of different maybe apps, social networks, and so forth. So this type of data is definitely helpful. On top of that, of course, we need to do a whole bunch of qualitative research, understanding that consumer, and then combining it all together for a coherent strategy. So then channel strategy, etc., would come after that, after we would truly understand that consumer. So my focus, if I were you, would definitely be going to that, understanding your customer.
Awesome. Thank you, Clara. Very, very clear explanation. I think it covers the question to its totality. We have another one coming in, not on the Q&A section, but we'll take it anyways. I think it's a pretty good one. So Tim, perhaps this one is more relevant for you. The question goes like this. You mentioned that aggregated data can be matched with audience data, right? So the question is, how can that be done? And if you can give a bit of an explanation or case study.
Yeah, that's a very good and common question, actually. So yeah, of course, we're able to match our data with your first-party data. Now, how we normally approach this is to have like a discovery session to really see what kind of data are you already having, what kind of data are you collecting, and basically how are you basically containing that data. And then how we approach this is normally, so we would have a list of IFAs, so from your database, and we would match that with our ones, right? So basically we do device indication matching to basically match what kind of which consumers are in your database, if they're matched, it also if they're contained in our database, and then give you additional insights on top of your data to really be able to bring you more knowledge about your consumer and how to basically engage with them and to basically better understand them. But we're more than happy to anytime to meet and have that session. We can explain you step by step how that is happening, because it really also depends on the situation of your company and how are you basically containing your data currently.
Fantastic, awesome. Thanks a lot, Tim. Good build up on that. Sanjit, there's another one coming that came in earlier, and I thought it was quite interesting. And that question is, why do you think telco channels can be successful over other digital channels for marketing?
Yeah, it's another great question, I think. I just want to share one very hot insight recently came out that 64% of people would choose messaging business over picking up the phone. And another from the same research, it came that 68% of people would choose messaging a business over sending an email. So that means this research is recently done, actually June 2021, during this COVID situation. So that means people perception is when they are reaching out to any business or organization or brand, they prefer messaging rather than calling the hotline number, or even they prefer messaging over email, because sometimes email communication are very challenging for them. So messaging is the most preferred channel, and that's the reason actually. If you see from a telco channel perspective, and if you compare this with other channels, other digital channels, even if you consider chatbot and other digital mediums, that's why messaging is more powerful, because it gives direct communication. And when you want to sell anything, or you want to directly reach out to any consumer, and you can directly reach out to them, and you can ensure this, your sales funnel or conversion funnel through that communication. Just to add on that, why it is better than or over digital channels, because in digital channels, at least consumer has to have the internet connection. Though in Cambodia, if you consider in Phnom Penh city, most of the 50 to 60% almost people are internet connected, but there is a major portion across the country in provinces, and if you consider the overall pie of the Cambodian handset user, so that overall pie is not yet covered with internet connectivity. I should not say internet connectivity, like real time, they all are connected to internet. That's not yet there. So that's why, considering all those facts and figures, we can say that messaging or telco channels are powerful over digital channels. Yeah. Thanks, Max.
Awesome. Thank you, Sanjit. I think we have one last question. We had a minute to go for our entire webinar session. So Clara, I'm going to hit you with this one. And interestingly enough, we got a few of the same. So I'm going to summarize it to: how do I land an internship as a data analyst, as a fresh learner in Cambodia?
I love this question, Max, because of course we want all the amazing talent in Cambodia to come chat with us and work with us. Absolutely. So the best way to do that is two ways to land an internship at ADA. I'm going to assume that it's at ADA, not in general, okay? First thing first, do go to our LinkedIn. There is always a whole bunch of positions that are available. We're a fast-growing company, so there are always opportunities. Apply there. Alternatively, get in touch with us, with anyone from either this panel or our team, and simply come and introduce yourself. We're going to schedule a call. We're always interested in great talent. Let's chat, let's get to know each other, and try to match basically any opportunities available with your interest and your career goals. But yeah, we want you talented people for sure.
Exactly. Right on, Clara. So we look forward to hearing from all of you, whether you're looking for a job or to learn more about our products and services. So without further ado, thank you very much, everyone, to the panel here from ADA. Amazing insights, and I hope that the attendees of today were able to get some valuable insights. So once again, feel free to reach out to us. There's our website, also our LinkedIn,
search for us, and we are one call away or one message on LinkedIn away. Wonderful. All right, have a really nice afternoon, everyone, and we're signing off.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.